we need to talk about critical path method. So critical path method is going to be, this is what is definition of critical path, the longest duration path through the network diagram that determines the shortest project completion time. So this is a little, I know, weird definition, but this gives you, so let's understand it from example, and then hopefully should make it more clear. We'll understand what is a float, and we'll understand what is zero float. So in order to understand this, just keep in mind that it is the longest duration. Let's take a look at this activity network diagram. So this example is taken from the PMBOK 6 guide. Okay. So in this example, as you can see, there are A, B, C, and D. There are 4 activities. So 4 activities you have to do. You have to do all 4 activities. This 5, think of it as weeks. There's 5 weeks. This is the duration. So in each of these boxes, you see this is A. This is A is the activity name. These 6 boxes in here, the duration, you know the duration. You ask the person how long it's going to take you. You know the duration. The duration is 5 weeks. Okay. Or let's take a days. It was 5 days. It's 5 days to do the activity. B, we know it's also 5 days. D is going to take 15 days. C takes 10 days. Now, as you can see, you have to start out, you have to do activity number A, first of all, right? You have to do activity number A. Once you complete activity A, you have to start on both of these at the same time, right? And then you have to finish these both activities, and then you can start on D. And then when you're complete with D, then you finish with the project or with that task or with that activity. So this is the concept you need to keep in mind. We have to do some calculations. So the calculations are, see, it shows you, it's a little bit small here, so it's bigger here, early start, early finish. Now think of it this way. You know, you start on day 1, on the first day. So let's say Monday, you're starting work. Monday at 8:30 a.m. you start the work. And it takes you 5 days to do the work. So when are you going to finish this work? Can anyone tell me, if you start on Monday 8:30 and it's 5 days work, when are you finishing it?
Saturday 8:30.
Saturday, anybody else?
Sir, it's Friday.
Friday, what time?
8:30.
8:30.
Are you going to, so Monday you've done 1 day of work. Tuesday you've done 1 day of work. Wednesday you did, so it's till 5 p.m. is 3 days. Thursday at 5:30, you would have done only 4 days of work. If you're saying Friday 8:30, that's not going to be 5 days. Do you agree? Do you guys understand?
No, sir, I can't understand that.
Okay,
yes,
let me
sir, we
explain.
can't work all day.
Okay, let me explain again. Monday 8:30 you start out, right? And you finish at 5:30, 5 o'clock. Let's 8 hours. Usually you work 8 hours in a day, right? That is 1 day of work. Clear? So
Yes.
so
Yes,
Monday
sir.
you've done 1 day of work. Tuesday you do
Friday
8:30 to 5:30.
5 p.m.
Yes, Friday 5:30. So Monday you do 1 day of work, 8:30 to 5. Tuesday you do 8:30 to 5. Wednesday 8:30 to 5. Thursday 8:30 to 5 is 4 days of work. Friday 8:30 to 5 is 5 days of work. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is how we need to think. So don't think of it as 1 plus 5 is equal to 6. It's not 6 days, right? It has to be, you have to do, start on the first day. And so this is the early start. What is the one? One is early start. And earliest you can start is Monday, 8:30 a.m. That is the earliest start. And 5 days is the duration. So this means earliest you can finish that task is going to be on Friday at 5:30 or 5 p.m. is the earliest you can finish the task. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is the concept we need to think about in terms of our this activity for now. Now, this is, so when are you going to start on task B? When are you going to start? So you're not working Monday, you're not working Saturday, Sunday. Let's suppose you only work 5 days a week. Here it's Canada, right? So Saturday, Sunday, you're not working. So when can you start task B?
Next Monday.
On Monday, what time?
8:30.
8:30, yes. So that, and that is the 6th day, right? So as you can see here, this was finished on the 5th day, that was Friday at 5:30. On the 6th day is when is the earliest you can start activity B. And same thing for C, right? Both are on the 6th day. Now the duration for B is 5 days, the duration for this is 10 days. So again, you have to think, if it's 5 days, so you're on the 6th day, 6, and then you have to count 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So don't make the mistake of 6 plus 5 is 11. That's not right. You have to add them and actually minus 1 because you're also working on that day also, on the first day, right? So that's why we have early finish is going to be 10 here. And this is 10 duration. So 6 plus 10 is actually 16, minus 1 is 15. Or you can think of it that you are working for 10 days, which is 10 8-hour days, and then you'll be done on the 15th day. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are, so we're only talking about these for now, early start, duration, and early finish, only the top ones. Don't worry about the bottom ones yet, I'll come to that. Now think you have 2 activities. This finished on the 10th day, this finished on the 15th day. So what is the earliest you can start the D? What is the earliest?
16 days, sir.
16 day. And the next, so again, anytime you see from the next one, it has to be plus 1 day because if you have 2 activities feeding into an activity, you have to take the higher of the 2. You have to take 15. You cannot take 10 because after 10 days, you've done this, but you cannot start D until you finish both of these activities. So you have to wait till this is done, and this is going to be done on the 15th day. And then the next day at 8:30 a.m., you're going to start on this activity D, which will be on the 16th day. Clear? Right? Then this is going to take 15 days. So 15 plus 16 is 31, but we use 30 because we have to minus 1 day for the first day also when we're going to be working also, right? So in this way, we have, now we know. So see, if you did not do this activity, if you just add up, you say, oh, 10 plus 15, and so this is 15 and 15, right? And 15 and 5, it's 35 days. If somebody asks you how long is this activity going to take, if you just add up the durations, you will say, oh, it will take 10 plus 5 is 10 plus 15 is 25 is going to be 30 and 35. But that's wrong. You see, the right answer is that it will finish on day 30th. You will have 30 working days, and then this activity will be finished. Is that clear? So that is the early finish for this D, and that is the early finish for your task for this work package, that the earliest you can finish it is on the 30th day. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So this what we just did, this is called a forward pass, okay? This is called a forward pass, and I put here also, easy for you to understand the forward pass calculations. You see, early start, whatever you have, is going to be, usually it is on the first day. D is the duration, right? And the early finish. So what you have to do is you have to think early start plus the duration minus 1, right? Same thing we did here, 6 plus 5 minus 1 gives you 10, right? Grade 2 math or grade 3 math? Maybe grade 4 math, right? Okay, and then, so here, when you take your early finish, you go to the next day, you have to add 1, right? You have to add 1. See here, when you have 10 when you have here of these two, yeah, you have 15, you have to add 1. Here you had 5, you had to add 1 because it's the next day. Clear? Right? And then here you're going to do same thing you did before, early start plus this duration minus 1. That will give you the early finish for the next activity or the next activity. So same thing, sorry, here, same thing we saw here. So you do the same thing here. So these things you have to keep in mind. Add these two together, minus 1. Next one you're going to add 1. Yes, any question about the forward pass?
No, sir.
Clear? Okay, so we're going to do an activity. I will give you some practice on it also. After the break, we will do that. But let's first understand the backward pass, and then we'll take the break. Then we will do the activity for the critical path also. Okay, so let's do that. So you have here the, yes. So you have here on the way backwards paths, you have to go back and think 30 and here's 16. How do we get that? So this is what we do here. On critical path, the late finish of last activity is equal to early finish. So you just, from the early finish, you just bring that down. First of all, that's easy, so here. So 30, 30, just bring that down, right? Then you will take here, you go late start. Think of it this way, late finish minus duration plus 1. So now you have to work backwards and think about, this is the latest I can finish this. This is the early finish. The latest I can finish it is on this date. Now I have to minus the duration plus 1. Okay, so let's take a look here. So we're going to do, so 30 minus 15 will give you 15, plus 1 will give you 16. Clear? You have to do 30 minus 15 plus 1 will give you 16. That is what we're saying here. Late finish minus the duration plus 1. Clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Right, and here when you're going in the forward pass, you have to minus 1. Here you have to add 1 day also. Now when you bring it over here, we had to add 1 day. Now we're going to minus 1 day for the late finish for the previous one. So here, as you can see, we are going to, so when we bring it over here, we are going to, see here, we have to bring it back here, we have to minus 1. So 6, we will minus 1 here. So here, so that is the activity that we do here. So when we late start of B, this late start, we have to minus 1. And that will be the late finish of this. And then same thing here, we do minus the duration plus 1. Now, why are we doing this? What is the purpose here? The main purpose, what is the purpose of the backward pass? See, the forward pass gives us clear indication when is the earliest this project or this activity can finish. That is what the purpose of the forward pass is. The purpose of doing the backward pass is to look at the float. What is float? So float is, think of it as how much time do you have in order to get your, in order to delay this activity. Can you delay it a little bit or not, right? That is your float. So here you see the total float, right? So here it's 0. Why is it 0? Because there's no difference between these here. You see there's no difference between early start and late start. If there's no difference between the early start and the late start, you have a 0 float. Here, the float is going to be 11 minus 6 is 5. 5 is the float. Here, 6 minus 6 is 0. 0 float. Here, it's 0. So that is the float. The float is the difference between early start and late start. This is what we were talking about here in the previous slide. What is the float? Float is equal to late start minus early start. That is one thing you can think. You can also do late finish minus early finish. If you look at it here, You can also think of it this way. 15 minus 10 is also 5. 11 minus 6 is also 5, right? And 15 minus 15 is also 0. So either way you look at it, either these two, the difference, or these two, the difference should be the same, and that is your total float. So what is the purpose of this? It is the amount of time an activity can be delayed or extended from its early start date without delaying the project end date or violating a schedule constraint. So what is the float? It is, you can say, like there's some buffer, some time period in between. If you delay that activity, it will not affect your total time for the project. That is the float of that activity. If you think of it this way, here, so activity B, it has a 5 days float. So yes, can anybody tell me what does 5-day float mean? How long can you delay this activity? Can you delay this activity to some days? If it's delayed for 2 days, is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why is it okay?
Because maximum we can delay as a 5 days.
Yes, right. So if it's delayed 1 day even, this is going to go, this is going to early finish will go to 11. It doesn't matter. Still, you have to wait 15 days for this to be finished, right? On the 15th day, this will finish. If it's delayed, suppose 3 days, this will be on the 13th day finishing. It's still, you have to wait 2 days. Even if it finishes on the 15th day, that's okay, because this has to finish on the 15th day. Then on the 16th day, you can start the activity, right? So you have got a buffer, you have got some float, means you can delay this up to 5 days without any major issues. But can you delay C? If this is delayed by 5 days, is that okay or not okay?
No, sir.
Not okay, sir.
Yes, if this is, because float is 0. If you delay this by 5 days, now you have to wait, you have to finish this, only then you can start D. If this is delayed 5 days, this is going to be delayed 5 days. Your project will now end 5 days later. Your project will be ending 35 days. If this is delayed 5 days, doesn't matter. Your project still will finish on the 30th day, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is the concept of the float. That is why we did the backward pass. You might think, oh, we did the forward pass, that's all. We don't need to do backward, but we do have to do the backward because we need to figure out what is the float. And the float will be the difference between these two numbers. And that will give us the clear indication about which activity, if there is any activity that we can delay. And it will give you, this is the critical path. The critical path is the path with 0 float. A, so yes, anyone tell me what is the critical path? So which activities have 0 float? First of all, tell me that. Which ones have 0 float?
Sir, A.
A,
A, C, D.
yes, A, C, D. As you can see, it says here, A, C, D. This is the critical path because A has 0 float, C has 0 float, D has 0 float. And this is shown in also the dark arrows. That is your critical path. And B is not on the critical path. If you add up the durations also, let's add up the duration, 5 plus 5 plus 15, right? So if you add that up, what do you get?
25.
25. So A, B, D. There's only 2 paths in here. It's very simple. There's only A, B, and D. One path, that is 25. The second path is A, C, and D.
No, 30.
That is 30, right? So this is 5, 15. 5 plus 10 is 15. 15 plus 15 is 30, right? So 30 is the critical path. So the 30 means that this is the path which is the longest path. You see there's 2 paths. This is 25 days, and this is 30 days. The path which is the longest is the path which is the critical path. And it tells us that this is the minimum time that our project will take. The 30 days is the minimum time our project will finish. That is our critical path. You see here, we mentioned here, critical path, the longest duration path through the network. So the longest, we had 2 durations. We had 30 and we had 25. So 30 is the longest duration, that is the critical path, and it determines the shortest project completion time. So we can finish the project in 30 days earliest. We cannot, if your senior manager says, oh, I want you to do it in 25 days or do it in 20 days, you can say it's impossible. We have to spend 5 days on this, 10 days on this, and 15 days on this, and that is our critical path. We cannot do it in 20 days. It's impossible unless we do fast tracking or crashing or something else. So you need to be clear about your activities, and you need to be clear about how to do forward pass and backward pass. And that way, then you are able to calculate what is the critical path. You can understand what are the float, right? And as we mentioned here, activities on the critical path have zero float. So that is the concept about the zero float. That is, so several ways you can see what is the critical path. One is the long, add up the durations, 5 plus 10 plus 15, bingo, critical path is 30. Other way is 0, 0, 0, this is the critical path. That's the second way you can visualize it, right? Clear? Okay. So I know you maybe understood it. If you don't understand this, I put here this link here for this YouTube video. This YouTube video explains this by another professor, of course. He's explaining it in the same way I explained it to you. But if you are not clear, you will have this recording, but you can also listen to that also on your own. I don't want to go through it now. And also another good thing, he explained it very interesting ways also, is think of it. So you're 5 friends, and you 5 friends are going to go to a restaurant to eat. It's not with the coronavirus now, I think there's no coronavirus, but 5 friends going to eat in a restaurant, okay? And you have only 1 hour time. So you have only 1 hour time, and you tell your friends, okay, we're gonna go there 8 o'clock. I have to leave at 9, I have to be home by 9:15, 9:30. So you 5 go, you order. So there's several things you have to do there. You have to look at the menu. You have to, of course, find a place. You have to look at the menu. You have to order the food. The food is delivered. Then you eat. Everybody eats, right? So the food probably will come at the same time, and then people are eating. Now, your 5 friends, does everybody eat the same speed?
No.
No, somebody will eat really fast, finish. Others will be taking very slowly, talking, blah, blah, blah. They'll be taking a little bit, and then again a little bit. Maybe one person's going to get up and go to the bathroom. Maybe somebody's going to go on a call. So there will be different times for each person, right?
Yes.
And you 5 people are coming in one car. You cannot leave one person behind. So what is the earliest time that you can go? So what will be the earliest time that you can go? If somebody is taking different times, if somebody takes 20 minutes to eat, 40 minutes to eat, somebody takes 1 hour to eat, somebody takes 10 minutes to eat, somebody takes 1 hour, 15 minutes to eat. So
150.
115, the longest, so the one which is taking the longest, the 1 hour, 15 minutes one, the guy who is going to be the slowest person, that person is the one which is the critical one. Because until they are finished their food, you cannot go. You can finish your food, but if they're not finished, you can't leave them here. You can't say, okay, you come in a taxi, I'm going. He's going to say, you're a good friend, you can't wait for me, blah, blah, blah. So you have to wait for that person. And that is the concept of the critical path, that it is, so the longest duration is the 1 hour 15. That is the longest duration that the person is going to be spending on eating. That is the longest duration, and that is the shortest time you can be in the restaurant. If that person finishes in 1 hour, then you can leave in 1 hour. Or if that person finishes in 1 hour 15 minutes, then you will be late. You will have to leave at 1 hour 15 minutes, right? So
Yes.
this is the concept of the critical path. This is a very simple one. You only have 4. Think in many activity network diagram, you have 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 activities to do. And then when you calculate all these different ones, it's very complicated. It can get very complicated. Of course, we have software for that and everything, right? So we're going to have an exercise after the break to do a critical path calculation. I'm going to put you in your breakout rooms. you will go there and you will do it in your breakout rooms, and I will help you with that also.